Welcome back, everyone. Well, this is the fourth and final episode of the Epic English Adventure. This was our fourth day. We took an all-day tour to the Cotswolds. The Cotswolds are the area in England where the rolling hills with sheep. They made a lot of money back during the wool trade. So it is a really lovely area where all these houses that they have the same look to them. It's like, they use all the same type of stones in the construction. And it's neat because even today, if you buy a house or build a house in the Cotswolds, you have to use the same type of construction so that your house blends in with all the other homes in the area. And it just preserves, that history and the look of history. And I just think that's so cool. And they showed us, they compared a house, there was a new construction house right next to a house that had been there for hundreds of years. And you could not tell, really, the difference between the homes. They both look beautiful. I mean, the stones just last for so long, and the look is the same. You couldn't tell that one was 100 years old and one was relatively new. But we had a wonderful time. It was a wonderful tour. My niece set it up. My nephew's wife, my niece-in-law, I guess, set it up. And she is the best. We've done some other trips with her. We went to Paris. She organized a trip for me and my daughter to Paris 2 years ago, I think it was. And she just does the best. I mean, she could do this for a business. She makes everything so wonderful. So all you have to do is show up and just go along with everything. I love her. Missy is wonderful. But we did the Cotswolds in a day, and it was a full day tour. It was wonderful. Some of the places that we went, Chipping Camden. Let's see, I got my little guide here that I have to. Stow-on-the-Wold. Wonderful. Bibury. Bourton-on-the-Water. It's just the names of these places, too. It's just, they were all lovely. So I'm going to include clips of each little area. It was wonderful. I think there was one, Dover's Hill, maybe? Dover's Hill was the first place that we went, which kind of overlooks, it's one of the highest elevations in the Cotswolds, so it overlooks like the valley. You can stand up there, and they have these, like the first Olympics was there, they had these games, which they still do every June, which probably this month they're having them, and so it was wonderful. We had a little tour there. Of course, again, we went in February, so it was on the much cooler side. But wrapped up, we went out and we just enjoyed our day. It was wonderful. I mean, all of the history in this area, had a wonderful time. And then, at the end of the day, we saw all these magnificent places. It was a bus. There was about 16 of us in this group on the tour. And our tour guide also was from the Cotswolds. He owns a home in an area of the Cotswolds. So he, from little town to little town, he had all this information to give us and tell us about the area and the history and all of that. So we were just, by the end of the day, we were just kind of exhilarated, but exhausted. So it was magnificent. But of course, this also ended up being our last day. Because as I told you at the beginning, we had a terrible family crisis that happened to us that kind of changed this trip, changed our life. We got home late, and then, we had laid down, I went to bed. It was probably a little after midnight, and we got that call. Certain times you get a call late at night, it's usually not something good. But if you have children, you have family, you answer that call. And no matter what it is, you're there. So we got the call at a little after midnight in England, which over here was a little after 7, I think, in the evening. And it was hard. Our son-in-law had collapsed. So they had rushed him to the hospital. So the voice of our child on the other end was devastation. Not knowing what was happening, not having to go through this before, and not really expecting anything. He had told us that Tony had collapsed and they weren't able to revive him. So they took him to the hospital, which luckily the hospital was only a couple of miles from their townhouse. So we were trying to calm him down and, saying, okay, well, he's in good hands. You just need to pull yourself together and go over to the hospital and find out what's going on. So we hung up the phone from that. Luckily, my husband took the call because he's much better under pressure than I am. He took the call. So we hung up the phone and just prayed, it's going to be okay. Tony was only 42 and never really had any health issues. So we were laying there waiting, hopefully to get that call that everything was okay, but we didn't. He called us back probably 20 minutes later and told us there was nothing they could do. They couldn't revive him at all. So that was hard. It was hard being like a world away. There's nothing you can do. I mean, just words and comfort, and you're not alone, and all that. So it was the most wonderful day we had, and the most devastating that we had, just out of the blue. So the next day, like I said, this was after midnight. We get up the next day and make arrangements to get back to the U.S. because it was going to be an 8-hour drive back to the U.S. and we were quite a ways from the airport. So it was like planes, trains, and automobiles. But so this wasn't how we wanted this wonderful epic adventure to end, but this is life, and this is what people have to go through every day, and so did we. So I'm going to show you a video of our trip, every wonderful, beautiful place that we went, and then at the end I did a little memorial for Tony, he was in our family almost 20 years. He was only 40, he would have been 43 this year, but we had wonderful times with him. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope you enjoy every moment of life, every little experience that makes you happy. And thanks for being here. Enjoy.
Somebody said to me the other day, they said, Colin, these look just like hobbits' houses, which I understand. There's only one house that doesn't like having the photograph taken. It's this one here on the right with the white cars. We call him Mr. Grumpy. He's just moved here from London and he just thinks, anyway, whatever. Anyway, there's the church, it's got a pub. Now, again, this shows you that houses have names here rather than numbers. So this house is called the Old Shop, because that quite literally used to be the village shop, and the house on the corner on the left is called the Old Forge, because that was the village blacksmith's forge. So if you live in this house, your address is very straightforward. You live at the Old Forge, Snows Hill, Gloucestershire. There's a beautiful road down there for you to explore. It's only a couple of hundred yards to the end of the village. Get amazing views over the valley. You can walk up behind us here and get that iconic shot over the village, and you can walk straight ahead past Snows Hill Manor, which is an old manor house which is now run by the National Trust. and it's one of the few telephone boxes that's still got a working telephone. So it's 10 to 12. We'll leave here at 10 past 12, 20 minutes just to enjoy. Lots of antique shops here as well. It's renowned for its antique shops, both within the main square and on Sheep Street as well. Don't do what one lady did. I was just about to leave and she came flying around the corner at the end of the visit. And she came running up to the minibus. We were full that day, 16 people. She said, Colin, she said, have you got room on the minibus for an antique dining room chair? Now the answer is yes, because we've got quite a big boot. So she ran back and came back 5 minutes later with this 350-year-old antique chair. I have no idea what she was doing with it. So the moral of the story is chairs yes, tables no. Right, welcome to Stow-on-the-Wold. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to whiz you around the square so you can get a sense of where everything is, and then let you loose. So on the right hand side, just coming up on the right, you can see the Queen's Head Inn, literally just there on the right hand side. There's the pub. Just beyond it on the right hand side is Lucy's Tea Room, quite literally just there on the end. Straight ahead of you next to the bank is the Coach House Coffee Shop. So the Coach House Coffee Shop is literally straight ahead. You've got Hufkins. Behind there on the right hand side is Church Street. That takes you down to the baguette shop, Cotswolds Baguettes. And to get to the oldest pub, you go to the left hand corner of the square down Digbeth Street. The little footpath that goes behind this building here, 20 yards down there on the right, are the famous church doors of St Edward's, Tolkien's doors. So everything revolves in or around the square. So it's just about 12:30. We'll leave at 1:45. 1:45. The seating is there in the main square next to the village stocks. Bathrooms here if you need them. And I'll be here outside the police station. Now, I use the word police station quite loosely. This police station is open 3 mornings a week. Left and right at beautiful little Barrington. They're having their wall rebuilt. Look. There's the defibrillator on the right. So this house on the right that looks like it's got scaffolding going up is the one that's for sale. Okay. It's got the trees at the front, and it's a 4-bedroomed house. This one, oh no, it's this one. So this house on the right is for sale, the 4-bedroom house with the yew trees by the front door. If anybody's interested in that. Yep. Okay. It's yours for £2 million. Now, a lot of people ask about land ownership in the Cotswolds, and it's a very good question. Let me try and explain it to you. The best way I can describe the land ownership in the Cotswolds is think of it as old money. So what I mean by that is that you won't find any big corporate commercial farms here. Most of the farms are owned by the lord of the manor, still to this day. This model has not changed quite literally in hundreds of years. Most farmers are tenant farmers, they're family farmers. So in my village, at the top of my village, there's a great big country house called Compton Wynyards. It's owned by the Marquis of Northampton. He owns nearly all of the land around the village that I live in. Home to the Wingfield family. Now they've had this house for 350 years. They own all of the land around here. They own the village of Great Barrington, so nearly all of the houses in the village are rented from them. So this is how they make their money. But it works well, it works well. So if you look through these gates on the left hand side, you'll see Barrington Park through those gates. So that's an old Cotswolds country estate. So old money is alive and well. Now I mentioned when we passed Broadway Tower this morning, I called that building a folly. Well, the Wingfields built something in their back garden, but we don't think this is a folly because this building has been used. What they built was a gazebo. There's the village of Great Barrington down there. So they built a gazebo and they would entertain guests to after. But this is the back garden of Barrington Park, the Wingfield estate, just here on the left. Yep, they do. That's the village church as well. So there's the gazebo. So whether they still take tea there, I don't know. I've never seen them there, but. So I think, in all honesty, I got. Of the Cotswolds, so there's still enough daylight left just to see some gorgeous far-reaching views pretty much all the way down the left-hand side.